Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Thursday, the 29th of April. I'm Paul and I'll be your host here on New Zealand Sports Radio. In the news today, we'll be bringing up speed with the IPL action in the cricket. We'll also let you up to speed with what the games are about to happen in both the NRL and also the NZNBL or the Sal's NBL. We'll also cover off in the basketball, the NBA and the Australian NBL as well, as bringing up to speed with the rugby and all the other sporting action. As I realise I've not checked out what's happening in the A-League, but don't worry, we'll have all of that information for you. Here is where it's your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. Let's kick off with the basketball over in the States and in the NBA. 6 games yesterday, relatively quiet day for the NBA. Some of the key games there saw the Nets beat the Raptors 116-103, and the Pacers lose to the Trailblazers 133-112. So big win there for the Trailblazers. The Bucks also beat the Hornets 114-104. As far as the table goes, no big moves with the Nets, the 76ers and the Bucks still leading the way there in the Eastern Conference. Over on the Western side, it's the Jazz ahead of the Suns and the Clippers with Steve Adams' Pelicans down in 11th place there, being a tough season for them. Turning out to be a tough season for the Pelicans this year. Over in Australia, and the Breakers were in action against Melbourne United. Melbourne United took a 9-point lead in the first quarter and never looked back. The Breakers never really got themselves back into the game. Corey Webster came off the bench, scored 20 points for the Breakers as they lost 90-76. Never really into that one, unfortunately. From a table point of view then, they're still sat down there in 8th place. They're losing to the top of the table, Melbourne United now, who lead the Wildcats by 1 game at the top there. Also, some good news, though, from the Breakers is that we're going to see them over here in New Zealand. They've announced 3 games for Auckland against the Sydney Kings, Brisbane Bullets and the Taipans. They'll be going to take 4 other games around New Zealand. Again, another game against Sydney Kings, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, the Illawarra Hawks, and the Adelaide 36ers. So good to see 7 games over here in New Zealand by the Breakers. And the first of those on May the 20th, running through to June the 5th. So moving on then to the Sal's NBL, and they are back in action tonight. At 7:30 p.m. It's Southland Sharks versus the Taranaki Mountaineers. Don't forget to join us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. here on New Zealand Sports Radio, where we'll bring you up to speed with that and all of the other sporting action. Over in the NRL, and they are also back in action tonight as Week 8 kicks off with the Raiders versus the Rabbitohs. You can have a full preview of this weekend's round of NRL action by catching up with the Standoff Show that comes to you at 8 p.m. every single Wednesday, where Brad and Richie took you through all of the action. So catch out that show. It's available as a podcast or on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter socials, as well as a video. So check that out to catch up with all of the NRL news, including them discussing the new options of conferences that has been announced as a board that is being rumoured to be being talked about at the moment. Moving on to the rugby then, and in Super Rugby news, unfortunately, Makalei Tu'u has had a compound fracture to his lower leg, stress fracture to his lower leg, and that rules him out for the rest of the season. And the Highlanders have yet to announce who the replacement might be. But outside back Sam Gilbert has returned from his ACL injury that he received last year. So great to see that at least he's coming back there. Tony Brown says they're losing on average 2 players a week to long-term injuries, which really is a very bad sign. Obviously, talking of of injury replacements, and the Crusaders have announced that Tim Bateman will come out of retirement to cover for Jack Goodhue, who is out with an MCL injury, meaning that he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. And obviously, he knows the system's there. Also, Braden Enor has played a couple of club games, so he could also be back in action for the Crusaders as well. So good luck to Tim Bateman coming in. Another old player, a bit like Liam Messon, returning for the Chiefs that we mentioned yesterday on the morning sports briefing. Moving on then to the cricket. And yesterday saw the Sunrisers Hyderabad take on the Chennai Super Kings. The Sunrisers went in to bat first, and Dave Warner opened the batting with Johnny Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow was out for 7 relatively quickly, but that just brought Pandey in. And as Warner and Pandey put together a century stand, Warner scoring 57 and Pandey 61. Kane Williamson also put in a quick fire 26 off 10 balls, or 26 not out off 10 balls at the end there, as the Hyderabad reached 171. In reply, the Chennai Super Kings got off to a good start with Gakwal with scoring 75 and Faf du Plessis 56. At the top of the innings for an opening stand of 129. There, Moeen Ali, Dejada and Rayana then finished things off as the Super Kings reached 173 for 3, reaching their target of 18 and a half overs, so 9 balls to spare there. All the wickets were taken by Rashid Khan, who took 3 wickets for 36 off his 4 overs, but it wasn't enough as Chennai Super Kings won that one with 9 balls remaining. Having a quick check-in on the A-League and when the next round kicks off. They also have a game this evening. Melbourne City FC will be taking on Newcastle Jets. A tough order for Newcastle Jets there, who are bottom of the table, as Melbourne City are top of the table. Kick-off of that game is at 9:05 this evening. You have now started the day the best way to with all the important sports news. Don't forget to join us this afternoon for the Super Rugby preview show at around about 5 o'clock, where Cornflake and Shane will take you through all of the Super Rugby action this weekend. And don't forget, this weekend we'll also be bringing you post-match reactions to the Kiwi games, and we'll be back on at 8 p.m. on Sunday evening with the Super Rugby review show as well. So lots of rugby content coming your way here on New Zealand Sports Radio.